If there's one step that the HD can take in the next 9 months to improve its programme, I think it's to document the feedback that our partners hear on a daily and ad hoc basis, so that we can use it to inform decision making and be more responsive to people's needs.
Okay, I think we should give top priority to early warning, early action, particularly to slow onset emergencies like drought. Year on year, we sit and watch droughts evolve, and we do nothing until the emergency declaration is made, and we need to completely scrap that system and move to an early warning, early action, forecast-based system. It's more effective, it's particularly more cost-effective, but it saves lives as well. That's really, really important.
Christian Aid's humanitarian work, it would be great to see more focus on localisation, on supporting our local partners and our local country offices, and really embedding that in the work that we do.
I would say the most important thing would be a better coordination across different teams internationally.
So in the next year, I would like humanitarian to really think about how we can use data in interesting ways, not just maybe servicing like the log frames and things like that, but how we can do something actually new and bring more impact to the communities.
It would be great if we could look, or you could look while you have your conference, at improved ways of working with Asia, Middle East. Our relationships are good, but build on that. And we would certainly like to know a lot more about the localization agenda that's being pursued in other parts of the world and fed into our division.
Over the next year, I would love to see Christian Aid embody the principle of subsidiarity, which means taking decisions at the lowest possible level and the most appropriate level. It would be a good way forward, I think, in terms of ways of working.
Hi there, I work in PFD and would really like HD to get more connected to PFD members, so that when we have big proposals like especially ECHO, we're all working together as one unit to pull through and write the applications, rather than PFD leading on it. I think that it should be much more of a joint application, and people in HD should really prioritise getting trained in ECHO procedures, implementation, and how to write proposals and use the Appel platform.
You should focus on being accountable with the funds and resources entrusted to them.
What should HD do differently? Be around the office in London more if you're office-based London staff, because I can never find anyone when I need them, apart from Michael, of course.
I think we should focus on places like Gaza and Syria.
They should share the results of their work more widely, what works, what doesn't work, with the non-humanitarian group, and share lessons and things like that.
I'd really like to work more with the humanitarian division around engaging the private sector, because I think we've seen a lot of innovation coming out of the private sector, especially around responding to the Syrian refugee crisis, and I think there's a lot of opportunity around tech. So that's something that I'm excited to work on with the humanitarian division.
Yeah, I can think of two things that I would like to see humanitarian division working with. It's working with small and medium enterprises on tackling all these humanitarian issues, but also it's very important to keep in mind the power dynamics and gender dynamics within interventions, and this should be looked at really carefully.
I would like to see a wide representation of local voices in the humanitarian department, and particularly championing partner voices and seeing international voices leading in the kind of senior management of the humanitarian division as well.
I would like to see the Christian Aid, the humanitarian division in particular, to be at the forefront of the localization agenda and be the champion of the community-led response, because this is what our beneficiary, the people affected by disaster, are asking us to act.
Two things from me. One is to really integrate humanitarian programming into our long-term vision for each country programme, and secondly, to really see how localisation can add value to our work.
We should talk to each other more, because at the moment no one knows what the other peoples are working on at all, so we don't know what's happening around the world.
Humanitarian should just go back to earlier conversations as well of linking the long-term development and the humanitarian, especially around CHS, how to make the core humanitarian standards more accessible to long-term development partners and programs.
HD should prioritize our discussions on localization, what that looks like for different countries around HD in Africa, Asia, Middle East, Latin America. We should talk about all the different commitments we made at World Humanitarian Summit with Charter for Change, Grand Bargain, and see how that actually translates into practice.
Why don't we truly put human beings affected by crisis right at the front and centre about decision making about their response and recovery? And why don't we become the agency that's known for empowering vulnerable populations to take a lead?
I think HD should do a lot more of the localisation project and talk the talk as well as walking the walk, and promote it within the organisation, because that needs doing. Let's not keep it a secret from everyone. And more stuff for the Middle East.
Show excellence as humanitarian professionals and get really good at integrating humanitarian advocacy into all responses, so that you just see a seamless humanitarian response that has all the elements of humanitarian operations, and seeing advocacy as part of those operations.
For the humanitarian division, I would like them to, in order that to help us go digital. That's, if we could have a response, we have everything digital, we could go faster, we could support people better and have better impact. Other thing, preparedness or DRR. Working with others in coordination, more DRR work and preparedness in the countries or community where we are working could make a real difference in people's life. Thank you very much.
What would you really like to see HD putting as its top priority for the next 6 months?
I'd like to see for the next 6 months, there are two things, I'm afraid, and not just one.
That's
one is making sure we really focus on accountability to affected populations. That's got to be the centre in every single thing we do, making sure that what we're doing is really focused on affected populations. Secondly, really, I want to make sure that the conference that the meeting that we're going to be having over the next week, 2 weeks, really brings us all together, so we all know each other better and understand what each other's priorities are, and how we can work together better in the future.